Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or wherever or whenever you might be listening to this very podcast. My name is Arise Michael Godfrey, and I'm your friend. And I want to welcome you specially to the weekly podcast on the keys and the laws of academic excellence. Well, where were you last week? Because we started the series last week and it was really, we had a beautiful time together. All right, so we've been discussing extensively on setting academic goals, of which I really believe that without academic growth, without academic goals, you can't experience academic growth. In other words, there is no academic growth without academic goals. So last week I had an introductory section with you, all right, where I guided you in understanding the concept of setting academic goals. And I also showed you the four classes of students. All right, when we talk about goal setting and the likes, I help you to understand that there are four categories of students. So I'm just going to do a very quick overview. By the way, you can always get a recorded version of our podcast via our media platforms on AudioMac, Spotify, YouTube, all right, Facebook, and a lot of other platforms. All you need to do just search for Arise Michael Godfrey, and you can find a link to the podcast. All right, and you can download. For those of you who prefer the MP3 format, the audio format, of course, you can download it and just listen in. But of course, if you prefer to, watch the slide, of course, as you listen to my voice, which I believe might be more helpful, you might want to download the MP4 or the video format. All right, let me welcome you once more. So last week we had a very beautiful time, of course, right? And I'm just going to quickly walk you through the concepts and help you understand the four classes of students I discussed. And very quickly, I'm going to be helping you see the importance of setting academic goals. All right, so last week I helped you to understand that um, academic goals is an important step an excellent student must take in defining of which happens by writing and selecting his or her desired academic performance, of which includes, the score per CA. All right, the CA there means continuous assessment. I hope you know your evaluation process actually start from your continuous assessment. Contrary to many opinion and the myth many students would have. Many students will feel or suggest that, don't worry, the whole evaluation mark start from, or the whole evaluation process start from the examination. No, that's not correct. All right. The whole process of evaluation starts from your CA. All right. So when you're setting an academic goal, of which I've told you that that's an important step every excellent student must take. So it happens by, defining or writing or selecting your score per CA, your grade per course, your GPA per semester, your CGPA per section, and eventually the class of honor or the class of degree, if you like, which you intend graduating with at the end of your educational program. All right, and I also help you to understand that this is an important step you know, step every excellent student must take, on the rung of the ladder. All right. Now, if you see a ladder, if you've seen one before, you will understand that there are many rungs on that very ladder. Now, each of the rung on the ladder represents process, represents a specific process an excellent student must go through. So now, setting academic goals is one of those very important steps, an excellent student must take on the rung of the ladder of academic excellence. Does that help you? All right. And of course, this also happens by selecting and defining your specific score per CGA. All right. It consists of your grade per course, GPA per semester, and your CGPA per section, eventually your class of honor at the end of your educational program. All right. So that is the concept um, of academic goals. All right. Now, to help you understand this better, I did say to you that there are four classes of students. When we talk about setting academic goals and the likes, there are always four categories of students you would always find in every institution. You will find them, all right, in every department of which you might be a student of, you would find them. All right, every faculty, of course, you would find them and the likes. They are just four. The first category of students is classified under the don't have goals. All right, they are called the don't have goals. Now, why are they called the don't have goals? Now, generally speaking, this set of students don't have a specific goal. They don't have a general goal, they don't have a specific goal, they don't have a life goal, they don't have a financial goal, they don't have an academic goal, all right. Whatever life brings to them, they are totally fine, all right. Then the second class of students, all right, and every single student falls, every individual student falls under one or more of this category. And this very podcast is to bring you to the highest class of this very categorization of students. All right, so the second class of students is they have goals, but not academic goals. All right. In other words, no academic goals. Now, this set of students are not like the former set of students I've just discussed to you, who doesn't have a specific goal in health or finances or whatever. Now, this set of students have goals. They have financial goals. All right. They have career goals. They have relationship goals. All right. They have clothing goals. They have good look goals and the rest of that. However, they lack an academic goal. They don't have an academic goal. And I hope you know, I experienced this firsthand as a student, while pursuing my first degree in National State University, Kefi. All right, I found out that regardless of the goals you might have as a student and regardless of how far you are able to pursue or even achieve those goals as a student. Now I'm talking about your financial goals, your relationship goals, and the rest of all of those goals. The satisfaction you get is minimal compared to having an academic goal. Do you understand that? Does that help you? What I mean is that, of course, you could have financial goals, and of course, you are achieving that. You could have relationship goals, and of course, you are achieving that. All right. You might have, clothing goals, good look goals, hairstyle goals, and the rest of that. And of course, maybe you are achieving that. However, when you don't have an academic goal, and of course, what an academic goal will do for you is to help you grow. All right. Because when you set a goal, you automatically have set a direction to which that area of your life would follow. All right. So when I have a financial goal, I've already set the direction to which my finances should follow. Same thing happens when you have an academic goal. When you have an academic goal, you already set a direction to which your academics should follow. And I'm going to be discussing this, in more details when I talk about the importance of goal setting. All right. So that's the class of students, the second class of students. They have other goals, but no academic goals. Now, the third class of students is where, by my research and continuous quest for knowledge, I understand that many students falls under this category. All right. My research has shown me over time that many students falls under the third category, which is classified as don't know how to set goals. During my time at okay, this was 2 years ago, right? When I did my first book launch on the keys of academic excellence. Right. So I did a little campus tour. I moved around from different campuses. I went from, School of Health campus here in Nassau State. I visited the Pianco National State University campus, the National State University itself, all right. And when I got there, right, I had a little talk with a few of the students in groups now, right. Whenever I arrived at their class or the department, all right, I raised up a concern, raised up a conversation about the book and how it can help them, all right, by extension, inviting them over for the program for the book launch. But while I was speaking with them, at some point, I would stop and ask, do you have an academic goal? And the gaze on their face immediately suggests the fact that these guys doesn't understand. They don't understand what I'm saying. So I said, all right, put your hands up if you know you have an academic goal. The hands weren't going up. I said, all right, put your hands up if you want to know how to set an academic goal. And there I had all the hands up. All right. So it's a problem of knowledge. Many students don't know how to set goals. All right. And this is the reason why we've organized this podcast together. All right. And now lastly, we have the have academic goals. This set of students have academic goals, achievable academic goals, where or which they want to pursue. So the big question I asked last week was, where do you fall? Do you fall at the no goals, have goals but no academic goals, don't know how to set an academic goal, or you have an academic goal? Well, while you ponder on that question, I want to help you now understand the reason why you need to have an academic goal. All right. And I'm going to be sharing this in 4 points. All right. Four very interesting points. Now, the reason why we set goals is simple. There is no growth without goal. Remember the example I gave you or the illustration I gave you, that if you have a goal, all right, immediately it gives you a direction to which that specific area of your life should follow. All right. If I have a health goal, all right, what that will do for me is that it helps me guide, what I'm going to be eating, how I'm going to be eating, when I'm going to be eating, and the rest of that. All right. By the way, I'm going to be doing a very beautiful series on um the relationship between your eating and your reading, because I really strongly believe that there's a direct relationship between what you eat, how you eat, when you eat, and your academic performance. But that's going to be coming up in the coming months ahead. All right. So when you set a specific goal, what you also done is that you set a precedence to which that very specific area of your life should follow. This is same for your academics. All right. When you have an academic goal, what should precede your academic goal should be academic growth. All right. That's why I will always say that there's no academic growth without academic goal. All right. If you must experience growth in your academics or in your personal life, you must be willing to set an academic goal. And I have four reasons or four very important, you know, um, points to help you better understand this. Number one is that academic growth is not automatic. All right. Academic growth is not automatic. What is automatic in a literal sense is academic failure. And I want to help you understand this very clearly. Now, have you discovered that you don't need to do so much to fail as a student? You really don't need to do so much to fail. Let me help you. Let me give you a few lists. All right. Let me help you if probably you want to fail. Let me give you my candid opinion or my advice to help you fail successfully. All right. Now, all you need to do to really fail or to have, a plethora of failed courses, all right, or a list of failed courses, and at the end of that, you have an average performance. Let me just help you. I'll help you do something. Just be prepared. You won't do so much. Just do nothing. All right. Just overfeed. All right. I was just telling you about your academic, your performance having a direct relationship with what you eat, when you eat, and how you eat. So just overfeed. Be like me, my 100 level. Overfeed. Just get some wraps of we call it Santana. All right. I call it Santana personally, but it's called in the local dialect of our Eastern brothers is or it's called akpu. So just get 4 or 5 wraps of akpu and mold it very well, mold it like a mountain, have a bowl of very, 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 very delicious soup. All right, you know, put it inside, feed yourself. Just make sure you're overfed, overfeed. Now, of course, when that happens, you feel very dizzy and the rest of that. But that's not all. If you want to feel successfully, keep late nights. You don't have to come back by 8 p.m. You don't have to come back by 7 p.m. Your day activities shouldn't be closing by then. You want to feel successfully, right? So why not we do 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m., or 12 a.m., or even 1 a.m.? Just keep the late night. And when you do, of course, it will lead to another thing, which should be you will sleep past your lecture because there's no way you arrive your house by 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m., and you're going to wake up for a 6 a.m. lecture. Only possible. It won't work. Do you understand? That won't work. All right. So, of course, you will sleep past your lecture time, and that's not out. If you can still make it to your 8 a.m. lecture or your 10 a.m. lecture, when you do, because you want to feel successful, this is what I advise you to do. Sleep. You need to sleep now. Come on now, sleep now. Sleep a little. Just a little. Just sleep. Okay, if you are not feeling sleepy, how about distracting other people while the lecture is going on? Distract them, Jerry. You won't learn them too. They should also not learn. Do you understand where I'm going to? All right. So just distract them and the rest of that. Now, you don't have to have a study routine. Students who wants to fail, they don't have student. They don't have a study routine. The school resumes 4 months, the school is in section, teaching is in section for 4 months. Don't read, where you're expected to read is a ninth before your your exams. Pick up your book and do TDB to 10 hours. Oh shit, well done. Don't mind me. But what I'm just trying to help you understand with all of this, scenario is that you don't really need to do so much if you want to fail. Just do all of this I've said over time, repeatedly over time, you will face success. However, if you want to be an excellent student with excellent grade, you must be ready to do the things average students don't like. And this is what I teach, in my book on the 9+1 laws of academic excellence, specifically on the on the law of consistent action. The law simply says what excellent students do, what excellent students do every day, average student do someday, and what average student do someday, excellent student do every day. Do you understand me? It's all about the consistency here. So what are some of those things average students do? Those are the things I've just helped you outline. Keep late nights, overfeed, don't read as at when expected, distract others while learning is going on, be a visiting student doing a full-time program. Do you understand? And when you done that every day, you will definitely fail successfully. However, these are the things excellent students will not do. All right. These are the things they won't do. These are the things you won't catch them doing. All right. So if you want to be an excellent student, you must have an attitude of setting goals, because when you set one, all right, it also gives you the ability to achieve that very specific goal. All right, because excellent student knows academic growth is not automatic. You have to work it out. It comes with focus, it comes with consistency, it comes with outlining your priorities, all right, it comes with early preparation and the rest of that. Okay, so that's the first importance of setting academic goals. What then is the second importance of setting academic goals? You see, I for one really believe academic goals gives you academic performance a direction. Vis-a-vis, I've been talking about, you know, the thing about setting a goal and how it gives your life or a specific area of your life a direction. Now, I want to help you understand this, and I'm going to give you an illustration. All right, see, if you are a student listening to this podcast, or you have a friend, all right, don't feel bad about this. You have a friend or a relative, or perhaps you're a parent listening to this podcast, and you've seen over time that either your child or you as a student, you've noticed that your academic performance is not consistent. You have a rising and a falling score per CA, GPA, grade per course, GPA per semester, CGPA per section. It's always rising, then it comes down, then it goes up, then it comes down, then it goes up, then it comes down, then remains stagnant, then it goes up. It's a clear indication that you don't have an academic goal. Yeah, that's what it is. It's true. All right. That's what it is. How do I know? Because, see, certain academic goal has the inherent ability on its own. It has the inherent ability to direct your academic performance. Let me give you an illustration. So let's say you want to travel to Lagos, all right? You want to travel to Lagos, you have a destination in mind, which is Lagos, and you have a goal in mind, which is to arrive in Lagos. All right. So now, in going to Lagos, of course, you can't trek. You have to, of course, use the different means of transportation. Okay. So let's say you arrive at the airport, you want to fly. All right. And when you arrive at the airport, you, of course, find out you got a ticket because you have a destination in mind. Your destination is Lagos. Your goal is to arrive in Lagos. All right. You go down to the airport. You go down to the decks and you get your tickets. You book your ticket there. Get the ticket details. Get the flight details. You go into Lagos. Your flight is announced and the rest of that. You're onboarded and off you go to Lagos. Now, let me help you understand what happened there. It's because you have a destination in mind and it's because you have a goal in mind. That's why you are able to arrive at Lagos. If you don't have a direction in mind, you don't have a goal in mind, I'm very sure you won't arrive in Lagos. What that means is that the same scenario, you don't have a destination in mind, neither Lagos or wherever. You arrive at the airport. And now you're not thinking, should I go to Calabar? Should it be Lagos? Should I go to Abuja? Should I go to Port Harcourt? Should I go to Dubai? Should I go to Los Angeles, California? You're confused. And mind you, there are flights available for each of these locations. All of these locations I've just announced to you, they are available. They are pilots ready to move. All right, ready to get on the flight, get on the plane, and move their do their job, execute their job. So the problem is not the availability of the flight. The problem is not availability of those who are going to attend to you. All right. The problem is that you don't have a destination and you don't have a goal. And now, because you don't have a destination and because you don't have a goal, everywhere seems to be a direction, everywhere seems to be a location. Do you understand me? So it's a very confusing situation you can find yourself in as a student who doesn't have an academic goal because you don't have a direction for your academics. If I have a goal in mind to say, oh, I'm going to be achieving, I want to have five A's in my 8 courses, or I want to have a parallel of A, what will happen to me is that inherently I have found a way of directing my academic performance. I have found a way of telling my academics, hey, this is the direction which you should follow. Hey, these are the grades I have identified, all right, and this is the direction I want my academics to follow. Something then happens to you as a person. Your actions begins to change because if you said you want 9 A's, there are certain activities you must do, and there are certain activities you must not engage in. So inherently, you already told those students that wants to achieve an A grade, all right, they don't behave in a certain way. These are the standard, these are the ethics of such students. So you abide by them. While you abide by them, you find yourself going in a direction that aligns with your academic performance. Do you understand me? It's so beautiful. Let me give you another illustration. So many years ago, right? Some 2, 3, or maybe 4 years ago, you know, Minister Austin King is a good friend of mine. We started a friendship immediately. I go down to the university. So, Mr. Austin King is a professional musician. So most times I do go with him. I had a feeling about music then when I came into university space. So I love music. So I joined him. I enjoyed his company whenever I was going around to minister or being invited to minister at an event or any of that thing. So when we are exhausted after singing for many hours, right? When we are exhausted and we come out, from the location and we're about to go home, all right, and probably we need to board a bike, all right, to go home, because we are tired and maybe we had an interesting conversation before we found the bike, So once the bike arrives, the bike is there, it's ready to take us. Then by impulse, we don't plan this. By impulse, I'll just look at him and say, we just look at the bike man and said, home. He will ask us in Hausa, Zejayina. What that means is that where are you going to? I just hope I didn't say, I hope I said that correctly. He will say, where are you going to? That's the bike man speaking. And we'll say, home. And the bike man will start laughing. So it will now come to a realization that, okay, we said home. Home is not an address. And that's true. Home is not an address. Home can be anywhere. Home can be Kaduna. Home can be Abuja. Home can be Delta State. Home can mean anywhere. So home is not a specific direction. All right. So we now need to tell the bike man this is where we are going to. And the bike man is able to take us there. Why? Because we've given him a direction. So imagine if we bought the bike and we tell him home. I mean, he can take us to wherever doesn't look like home. And because we don't know where we are going to, all right, he can take us to wherever and drops us there and tell you this is home. Do you understand? Now, what that means is that it will be the same thing that will happen to you as a student when you don't have a goal. When you don't have a goal, your academic and your academic performance does not have a direction. Any grade is fine. Any CGPA, it's fine. Any GPA per semester is fine. Any class or degree you choose to graduate at the end of the day, it's fine. So you experience a higher GPA today, a lower GPA tomorrow. That's all because you don't have an academic goal. So having academic goal helps you put, your academic performance in a very beautiful direction. Let me help you with the third one. All right. There is no academic growth without academic performance. I'm going to make this very simple. Now, when we talk about growth, I believe there are two sides. All right. This is my theory on growth. There are two sides of growth. All right. The first side is growing old. All right. And the other side is growing gold. Now, growing old, the first side, the other side, growing gold. And surprisingly, what separates the word gold and the word old is letter G. All right. And that G itself stands for gold. I hope you understand this. I hope you understand this clearly. Now, Growing old is automatic. Growing old happens naturally. You don't have to do so much to grow old. You don't have to do so much to grow old. All right. It happens automatically, happens by nature. Let me help you understand this better. Just imagine you have a young one, all right, or you have a young one, or you have a mother or a relative who recently put to bed, and you are privileged to be around, the time of the bed delivery, or the time where that relative of yours put to bed. Now, so you're privileged to see the baby, right? You could imagine, or you could already figured out the size of the baby, the height of the baby, the size of his arms and the rest of that, the waist, the leg, and everything that happens, all of those physical features, you could already take a stock of them. All right. Now, imagine if you don't see that baby, or you leave town, all right, or leave the environment where that child was giving birth to and the rest of that. You don't get to see the baby until after 6 months to 1 year. I hope you know by the time you see the baby nest after 6 months or 1 year period, I'm very sure you'll be very surprised. You'll be like, you've grown. What's happening? You're not a big boy. You'll be so surprised. And you'll be like, what happened here? I'll tell you what happened. Growing old just happened. Why did it happen? It's automatic. All right. As we go by life daily, we grow old daily. As we go by month, we grow old monthly. All right. We grow old yearly and the rest of that. Time and chance already happened, and the product of time and chance that have happened to that baby is the process of growing old. All right. The baby have just grown old. So the baby didn't need to do anything so much to grow old. All they needed to do was to feed the baby, and the baby, of course, grew older. All right. His biological, or if she's a female, her biological features began to change, body parts began to form, and that continues over a period of time. That happens naturally. That happens, um, by the process of growing old. However, follow me to the other side. Growing gold. Growing gold is not a function of time. It's not a function of nature. It's not a function of biology. Is not a function of whatever you can attribute it to. That's natural. No, growing good is a function of deliberate and consistent action. Do you understand? So what that means is that that goal, that letter G that separates growing gold and growing old, is now left for you to decide. It's now your ability to now set goals to begin to grow gold in those specific areas. Oh, I want to grow gold in my academics. I want to grow gold in my health. I want to grow gold in my finances. I want to grow gold in my relationship. Do you understand? Now, that G is always telling you, if you want to grow gold in your relationship, you want to grow good in your finances, you want to grow good in whatever you want to do, you have to set a goal. So when you set a goal, you grow. Now that's a key word. When you set a goal, you grow. And you don't just grow now, you grow good. I believe you must have heard or seen, the gold refinery process. If I had given you, or if I give to you gold at, its raw form, and I tell you this gold you're holding has so much potential of giving you, economical value and the rest of that, I hope you won't believe me. Because that gold at its natural form or at its raw state does not look like something that is very valuable. Do you understand me? But just give that gold, put that gold to the refinery process. It's forged and all of those things happens to it, and I give it back to you. Be like, wow, this is beautiful. Now, what happens? It happens under a condition process. All right, a condition process, that required several activity, and once that was done, it became valuable. That process is what you must go through, and involved in that process, captured in that process, is setting goals. All right, it's setting goals. And lastly, all right, um, students with academic goals are always top of the ladder. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. By the way, I have a very beautiful video on YouTube. You can check that out. It was a live conference I was invited for, and I made use of the ladders and illustration. All right. And I help the students understand that there's such a thing called ladder of academic excellence. Now, in that very illustration, this is what I did. I told them, see, each rung of the ladder, like I was saying to you at the start of this very podcast, each rung you found on the ladder represents a definite process you have to go through. All right. And I told the young guy who was there, I said, take the first step. And I told him, this first step represents the God factor. All right. Take the next step. This next step represents correcting your academic mindset. Take the other step. All right. He took the third step, and I told him, this step now requires you setting academic goals. And now this is what I know. At the top of every ladder of academic excellence, all right, at the top of every ladder, you find only 20% of the students in your department, only 20% of the students in your faculty, only 20% of the students in your own school. Now, this 20% of the students are top of the ladder with 80% of the excellent grades. 80% of all the excellent grades, they are holding it at the top of the ladder. Why beneath or around the ladder, you will find 80% of the student community, 80% of the students in your department, 80% of the students in your faculty, 80% of the students in your school. And now they are struggling for the 20% excellent grade that is the remnant of what the top students have taken. And now this 80% of students are dragging, oh, you must give me this, or you will give me this, and the rest of that. And now what separates these both students are goals. Because students with goals stay top of the ladder. Students without goals stays below the ladder. And now, why they stay around the ladder or beneath the ladder? They make excuses. So a student without a goal will tell you, it's the VC. The VC does not know how to set a calendar. It's just 2 months is fine for academic session. Let's write our exam. What are we here for? Oh, is my lecturer. He doesn't like my middle name. I'm from the east. So whenever he hears Amarachi, he does not like that Amarachi. See now, it's because I'm not. Don't you understand? It's because I'm tall. It's because I'm short. It's because I'm fair. It's because I'm black. Many excuses. They have plethora of excuses and reasons why they are not top of the ladder. However, the excellent students there, when who are top of the ladder now, right? When they fail a course, they set a goal how to not fail next time. Do you understand this beautiful illustration? I'm just head over heels as I listen to all of this because it just opens my eyes to, the importance of goal setting. So this is really, the four importance of goal setting. That number one, academic growth is not automatic, all right, but academic failure is automatic. Meaning, you want to grow, you want to grow in your academics, you have to set a goal. Academic goal gives your academic performance a direction, all right. Growth, of course, is not automatic, all right. And lastly, students with academic goals are top the ladder. Now, I do understand you might have questions in specific areas. There are certain things you want to share with me. All right. You can always reach me on my various media platforms or handles. If you are listening to this audio, you can reach me on WhatsApp on 07032300590. All right. So you can write to me at Arise Godfrey. The Godfrey is Godfrey at gmail.com. No space. All right. You can forward me your questions there on Facebook. You can drop your questions, on the comment section. Next week we're going to take it on from here, and I'm very sure we're going to be having a very beautiful time together. All right. Until I see you, okay. Do have a great and a beautiful week in your respective campus. All right. Take care.